There we go.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. J and Professor Spike coming to you streaming live from Long Island, New York. Welcome to all our live viewers. Welcome to all our viewers who are going to catch us on replay. Welcome, welcome. The markets are, I don't know. Do you know? Fill in the blank. I did not look yet. It's 10 o'clock a.m. And my first look, admittedly, my first look at the markets will be with you guys.
Yeah,
we're going to all look together.
Very much the same. Very flat.
Very flat, but I've been doing very well lately, and I'm hoping that continues. In particular, the AD stocks woke up.
Yeah, they did.
In particular, CRTX, which I'm very happy about, as well as Sava. Novus is going to take a while longer, I'm sure. But the others are waking up. AVXL, maybe not so much, right?
That one's just been a slow go. That's one of my favorites, even though it's been the slowest moving.
Yeah.
It's slow moving up, slow moving down, so I'll take it. Gives me less of a heart attack.
I actually own every one of the ones that I mentioned, including Novus. That's the only one I'm not in the green with. So let's look at who's with us today. So early in the morning. I know we're trying to fool everybody. Normally we come to you at 11 a.m.
We're being live, LITHE.
Yeah, so we want. That's why we want everyone to subscribe so they do not miss us live in person.
Live.
The show is much better live because you get Jiggly and Patrick and Dan and Pablo and others that are just going to make the show all that much better with their astute remarks.
Right? There's an zero probability of getting one of your requests on the air.
Yeah, so as I was saying, everyone should subscribe, right? Take a moment, hit that subscribe button, and come every day. Well, not every day. Come twice a week.
Yeah, come when you can.
I'm not going to commit to every day.
Nor am I. I can't. I don't have enough to say.
Let's just throw a few of these comments on the board. Jiggly says, wow, Sava just keeps going and going and going. Dr. J, why do I sell my winners too soon and keep my losers way too long?
I'm with you. I know. I make that same mistake.
Why you do that? Because everyone else does it, and you figure you're just like everyone else.
Right. The psychology is that you're still waiting to make your money on your losers, but they just lose more while you're waiting.
And also when you have a phenomenal gain, you want to take it. I don't blame you. And sometimes it just keeps going up, like Moderna and BioNTech, and they get away from you. It happened to me and Professor Spike. We both bought, I bought Moderna at 50, BioNTech at 50.
Yeah.
And sold them well over 100, like 180. And one of them, BioNTech, I made less money. I think I'd only doubled. But the point is, now we look foolish having taken profits so quickly.
Right. Well,
we're only human.
Big losses either.
The answer is we're human. Patrick is adding to the Jiggly. Sava Saw is closing the $90 gap. Dr. J, should we take profit and run? I bought in at $68.
Good question.
We're gonna get to that chart, that Sava chart.
Yeah, indeed. We have to.
A better answer then. Yeah.
It's a very good question. I've been tempted myself.
Dan is giving advice, not his own opinion. By the way, that's another thing. Everyone should do their own due diligence. Our opinions are strictly our own and do not constitute investment advice. and check with an advisor before acting. And that goes for all of our guests and friends, including Dan. So Dan's opinion is to swap out to Red Hill, but it's only his own opinion. You should check with an advisor before acting. Red Hill, he's explaining what it is. It's a COVID antiviral, and it has a phase 2 prostate cancer trial at the same time. I think the COVID trial is a 2-3 trial, but I'm not sure if it's in the States. I don't think it's in the States. I think it's in Israel and maybe Europe. Not quite sure. Yeah. So there's going to be news on the COVID antiviral part. And it's also an anti-inflammatory combo, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. And I think it's going to be very good for keeping patients off the ventilators in COVID. If they're in the hospital and on oxygen, get them off the oxygen and send them home instead of put them in the ventilators. So that's a critical time. All right. Okay, with the new variant ravaging the world, we need a treatment option. As Professor Spike remarked the last time in the last show, treatment option stocks are being overlooked. And it seems like it's only the ones with vaccines that are getting the attention. But the vaccines have their limitations as well, and we need the treatment options. And there really aren't any good ones now. I mean, you have the steroid and you have the remdesivir. And, if you're that sick, it might help, might not help. And you also have, of course, early on, Regeneron, Lilly, monoclonal antibodies. That seems to work. But they're very expensive. And apparently you have to fit a certain profile in order to be eligible to get it. So there are issues, and maybe Red Hill has the answer. Who knows? We hope. Yeah, we hope for the sake of the world, not just for our pocketbooks. BCRX, what to expect with the new offering? I don't know how many millions they're trying to raise, but to me, it's not a big deal. A little dilution. It's just typical of biotechnology stocks. And if it takes a little bit of a hit, just buy more. That's how I look at it. We'll chart BCRX because, I don't know the effect that the dilution announcement had on it, because as I said, I didn't look at the markets this morning. So I don't know how it's doing yet. Jiggly, he's got a buy-in the 15s for BCRX. Jiggly is dying to get into BCRX, having missed it recently. Chris R., do we know what the market price is for BCRX? Don't know, Chris.
When Arjun comes back, we'll have those kinds of details on the show.
I plead the 5th. I did not read anything about the offering. But usually they don't, in the headline, don't announce the offering price. 1654, Spoon picked up some BCRX, and the IT drops to 37. I don't understand what he's saying. Then it drops to 37. I can't figure it out. I don't know what you're saying, Spoon. I think
it dropped a bit after he bought it at 60 change.
Oh, it dropped 37 cents more, maybe?
Yeah.
You can't have perfect timing. Let's get one thing straight. You're not going to hit the bottom, ever. Forget it. Pete Chechia, howdy, folks. Howdy, Pete. I don't know what to do about Vuzi, which is taking a nosedive today. Their earnings were disappointing. Tempted to buy more. Wonder what Kathy will do. Kathy Woods. I still like it long term. Can we chart? Yes. Put Boozy on the list. We're also going to
Yeah,
look
well,
at Kala, which is a request. We should look at the Israeli stock that Dan mentioned, Red Hill. So we got a list. It's growing
yeah,
longer.
we get a list.
I want to finish in a half an hour. So we'll go through a couple of more comments and get right to work. Pablo, 200 million BCRX. They're going to raise 200 million. Thank you, Pablo. Dow just hit an all-time high. Thank you, Jiggly. CRTX sword expect gain. Top line data for Alzheimer in mid-November.
There you go. That's one of your favorites now.
I said CRTX had the best chart. Did I not? Several times. I said that's the one to buy. It had the best chart. The best chart proved to be the best stock. Can we look at fuel cell? Oh, we'll try. Well, it's a little off my theme, which is today biotech, but we'll try to squeeze it in. If we look at fuel cell, maybe we look at FSR as well, right?
Yeah. FSR is doing well today.
Yeah, Kala is an interesting new one. If someone else requested it, we will play it. I mean, we will chart it, not play it. Let's get to work. Otherwise,
we do take requests, but not for music.
Not going to be able to finish. So,
okay.
Enough chit chat. I like
so we might as well start.
But we don't have the interest
did you want to start with CRTX?
We just can't chit chat anymore. I was watching the Women's Olympics, clinching the gold in basketball. Did you see any of that? They played Japan for the gold. Japan had an average height of 5'9". Do you believe that?
and they're the silver.
And they made it. Yeah, they made it to the silver.
It's very impressive.
It's unbelievable. A playoff game for the gold was between a 5'9" average height team and like monster tall girls on the U.S. team. S&P 500 is up 0.25%. The Dow is up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ up flat, basically flat. Russell is actually down, but flat. And crude oil is up big, 3%. And gold is continuing to downslide, down 0.22%. All right. Let's take a look first at BCRX.
All right. We might as well, since they have that kind of.
We could look at any of these. You could look at any of these.
BCRX is a good way to start.
What?
BCRX is a good place to start.
Okay. I think my computer is slow again. We're down $1.22 or 7% off the dilution news.
Yeah, it took a bit of a hit today.
Yeah, 200 million. Yeah, that's a pretty big raise. I mean, it's not huge. 200 million on a $3 billion market cap is not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's not great. What is it, about 6% dilution?
Well, I'm going to find out what the price is.
You can do the math because I'm doing 10 other things. You can do the math.
Yes, okay. All my since I'm visiting somebody else, all my tools are elsewhere, so I'm just going to look it up on Google.
I think 6%. So let's call it 6% dilution. I do have a chart. I thought all my charts got erased, but I guess this one didn't get erased.
Good.
Should have gotten erased. I don't even like this chart. I don't care for this chart. Okay. We're back down to the 50, right? The 50 has been nice support. It might be worth a little play here. What do you think, Spike?
Well,
Or
if this is due to an offering, then it's just a question of making this a long-term play. I'm still going to echo what Jake said a while ago. As this transitions from a R&D company to a pharmaceutical company, we're going to have different kinds of behavior. I still think it's a long-term hold, and it's a great thing to have, and that this is a good buying opportunity, but not for any of those really big pops that people are hoping for.
well, the analysts
Forward.
the most recent rating was a $21 target,
Right.
which is modest, but
Modest.
it's still percentage-wise not bad.
It's a fine. It seems like a fine company to hold. I mean, I'm doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So buy the dips. If you want to hold it long term, it makes sense to buy it here.
Mm-hmm.
And the 50 is support. It seldom dips below the 50, and if it does, not for long. So it's here, all the way back here, it dipped below the 50, and it actually stopped exactly at the 100, and then came quickly back to to trade above the 50. So almost invariably, if it dips below the 50, you got the 100, and then you got bounce back to trade above the 50. The 100 would be, let's say, about, well, we can tell you exactly. The 100 right now is 14.14, but by the time it hit the 100, it'll be about 14.50. So you got support 2 points below, and you have an analyst target at $21. It looks like a decent entry point here. If it hits the 14s, you buy more. From Spike's point of view, long-term hold. And I agree with Spike on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere with this stock. I might, on some peaks, since it's one of my biggest holdings, I might trim on some peaks, but
also I drew the trend line and I didn't cheat. Honest drawing of the trend line. From 413, the low is 923. And then it made a higher low on 5.5 at 10.57, and that was a trend line touch. Then it made a higher low on 7/19 of $15.07, and that was the third trend line touch. Then it made another higher low for a fourth trend line touch just a few days ago, August the 3rd, at $16. And then it finally went below trend line. It made a low on Thursday of last week before rallying strongly, 15.10. That was on earnings.
right.
Remember that?
Yes.
It scared everybody with that dip. Yeah. So that was a pretty scary dip, but it did not take out the low from 7/19, 15.07. That day it was 15.10. It came close. It basically put in a double bottom there. So we have double bottom support as well. Let's draw that in. So you see what we're getting at here. There's a lot of support technically. You got the 50, you got the trend line support that it's at now. You have double support where it is right now. You have a touch of the trend line and a touch of the 50. So I like these double support areas, and you also have a double bottom at 14.95. So that's, is it 14.90? No, 15.07 actually. Say 15. So you have a double bottom at 15, and you have trend line support. You have 50-day moving average support. And then you have support below the double bottom at 14.50 or so on 100. So there's tons of support. You have a very rock solid trading range actually since, I can't tell this date. I want to see what date this is.
Right.
6/28. mark the beginning of a new trading range. Let's just draw that in. I'll draw it to the top of Thursday's earnings.
Right.
So basically from 1489 to 1780. So you have a 3-point trading range, which is pretty interesting because that will allow you, if you like, to buy puts with a lot of confidence that you buy the 15s, and you got a lot of confidence in there that you'll get the pick up the premium, and also you could write calls on the 18s,
Right.
and feel like pretty confident that you win both bets. So right now we're in that trading range.
Within the short term, I'd say you're right that if you sell on both ends, and the stock stays within that range, you'll be in great shape. Could reap a lot of money.
It's a pretty good option strategy. Didn't we show this the other day? This option strategy. Right now, I'm losing a little bit on my puts because I'm not losing. I'm still
Yes, we
making
did
money.
discuss this last week.
But I won't collect on both ends unless it's between 17 and 18 on August 20th. So I still think I have a shot to collect on both ends on my bet. But I don't want to show the strategy again because people could look back to our video on last week. Just last week we showed that.
No, this is just to set the boundaries.
Yeah. So I don't want to go over the specific strategy.
No, 14, 17 makes sense.
But it's a definite, in my mind, a definite buy. The vaccine makers have been hot, and it didn't leave behind VBIV, which rallied from 283 on 727. It rallied from 283 to a high last week of 322, and now it's settling back somewhere in the middle. It seems to be ready for a breakout. I'm ready.
Bring him out to God's ear.
The 9-day is showing some support, and the 100 is the resistance. If it gets past that 100, it should shoot up to the 50 at about 340. So I see the next test at about 340. Break of 340, it'll go way back up. So the big thing here is getting enough Momo to cross the 100, and then the 50, and then we're off to the races. So all we need is some good news about the vaccine progression,
right?
Canada backing them, some grant money coming in, whatever it is. We need some kind of good news. We are forming a nice new trend line, which I'll be happy to draw in. And VBIV is not only about COVID, it's also about Hep B.
Right.
So how many touches? Look, in only 2 weeks' time, at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches of this trend line. Almost every day we're touching this trend line over a period of how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 days in a row. Out of those 12 days, half of them or more have touched that trend line. So this is a nice little pop that we're getting. It looks to me like you buy as long as it holds that trend line and keep buying. And as long as it holds that trend line, because that trend line is going in what direction, Professor Spike?
And what direction is that?
Trend line going.
Yeah.
That trend line is not going down, is it?
No, it is not going down.
It's going north. It has very nice positive slope. 45-degree slope, right?
Again, I don't answer that question.
Maybe 30 degrees, whatever, but it's nice.
I don't answer that question because of scale. Remember that.
Well, here's the vertical. I mean the horizontal.
Uh-huh.
I'll draw it in for you. So
Right.
then
Well, some people understand what my joke is. If you change it from a 6-month chart to a 1-year chart, the slope goes down.
Uh-huh.
But it's sort of a math joke.
The short-term trend.
Only I get it.
Yeah,
and everybody else.
But this angle in here is nice 45 degrees, right?
For now.
Would you say? Can I get you to commit?
Like I said, you're trying to get me to say something that I won't say. Yes, on that picture, given that scale, it's 45 degrees. How's that?
Okay, let's not argue the point. IWM. IWM, the
Russell. This is Russell, right?
The Russell has been flat while the S&P is...
It's the enigma that still keeps confusing.
The Russell
is going to go up, is it going to go down? Round and round she goes.
You see, the Russell has been very flat, although we are heading in the right direction, but it's been flat. Whereas the S&P is making new highs every day, the Dow is making new highs. The same can't be said about the Russell. I can't even get a good trend line. It's close, but not perfect. So we have a trend. We are trending up on the Russell, but we're also meeting stiff resistance at the 100 and at the 50. So every time we hit the 100 or the 50, we bounce back down. And that's been going on now for some time. I'm going to close the door. We have an intruder, an interloper. There's an interloper at the door that's trying to disrupt Dr. J and Professor Mike. Yeah, so my idea for the IWM is if you own this one, you could do the same thing as BCRX. This has been in a trading range. So why not, write the puts and write the calls every week? So if you own some of this, that's not a bad strategy, I think, because it's not going anywhere. While the rest of the market is going somewhere, this one's going nowhere.
Right. Well, I mean, the question is, do we see a breakout happening at some, either up or down, at some point? I mean, we do get a little bit of a
at some point, yes. At some point, definitely. But
I'm thinking because if you look at what the 50's doing against your trend line.
This was 211.
Or was that the 100?
I'm going to shorten this, tighten this up a little bit so I can draw the better trend.
All right. You see everybody how that changed the slope? Just to make my point from before.
This is 204, and this is a better fit. So from what numbers is slow? Hard to get this exact. All right, so this low is 207. So basically from 207 to 234 is what we're looking at. And what's this low? 204. All right, why don't we just say 204 to 234? That's what we've been using, right?
Mm-hmm.
204 to 234. And it seems like we've been hovering. I drew the midpoint of this last time, and we saw that we're mainly hanging out in the upper half of this trading range. So I'll draw that back again. I don't know why I got to keep redrawing things. So the midpoint is about 218.
Yeah, 218.
So there you go. We've been hovering about the 218. More trading more above than below. And I think the Russell will definitely point the direction at some point. And I think the Russell may ultimately, in my mind, it's going more likely to break below the 204 and point to a correction than it is to break above 234 and point to a melt up. It's still possible that we could have a further melt up in all the averages. But I think,
a
believe
good
it or
number, a
not,
couple of weeks ago.
that is possible, but less likely than to go below the 204 and all the markets correct 15%. That's much more likely. We'll see. And you know, it did this since the beginning of the year, so it's doing it for 7 months, this trading range. It could do it, it could continue for another 7 months. It's possible. You never know with these things. So my strategy is own the IWM, write the puts and write the calls every Monday, and cash in on Thursday, wherever it's at. Just get out of your bed on Thursday. That's what I think. Of course, my opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. All right, so it's a Monday through Thursday bet. I think it could make you, on 1,000 shares, I think it could make you 2,000 a week easy profit on average. Of course, you could get hurt if there's a big move a huge move in either direction. You could get hurt, but you not too much, because you just use stop loss and get that. Now, you can't use a stop loss an option, but you can do a mental stop, and you see that it's collapsing on you. You get out, cover your puts quickly. So basically, I like that bet. I think it's a good bet. It costs 222,000 to go into 1,000 shares, right? On 222,000, if you make 2,000 a week, that's 100,000 bucks in a year. That's 1,000 bucks in a year. What I say it is 100,000 bucks in a year. That's a 50% gain, almost 40%. And I think with very little risk. You might be some weeks that you lose a little. You have an opinion on my crazy idea? Is it a crazy idea, Professor Spock? I think I lost Professor Spock. Spock, I called you Spock and you got mad at me because it's Spock.
You
You got mad at me because I called you Spock?
Believe me, I'm not allowed. I'm not.
Yeah, your connection's not perfect. I know you're away on vacation.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I did hear a lot of what you said about the play, and you know, for those of us for those of us in the gang who like to make money off selling and writing calls and puts, seems very reasonable.
Yeah, considering
better than having a real job.
Considering you have 7 months of it not getting out of that trading range, why should you be so unlucky to pick the 1 week that it does? I mean, you could. So this is calith, or I don't know. I know there's a catalyst expected shortly. I know they're a cancer play. I don't know too much about them other than what I read the other day. And I did a quick read of the pipeline and so on. It looks interesting. Of course, from 114, the beginning of the year, it was 375. And the trend line has been pretty severely down. Even if you use this trend line. Well, if you use this trend line, yeah, I guess you have to use that trend line. It's just barely above the trend line. Great, looks like we're breaking out of it. So we had a very good move up on Friday. Nice move on Friday to a high of 230. Now we've given back 11 cents. No big deal. The middle of that green candle, in fact. So that's not a problem. So we moved up pretty nicely from the lows, which was $1.78, I see. So we bounced off the lows, and I don't know the nature of the catalyst. I didn't have time to really delve into the fundamentals. So I'm mainly looking at the technicals. And the technicals look okay. I mean, we look like we finally consolidated and it's just trying to head north now. So as long as we stay above this trend line, I kind of like it. This might be an excellent entry point right now as we speak. In fact, I think we're going to buy some right now.
Really? Okay.
The thing is, if I do it right now, I'm going to be able to chart one stock less. So I'll do it right after the show.
Okay.
What other hot ones are there?
We have to do Sava and CRT and CTRX or CRTX with the two AD plays.
And Vuzi for P.
Right, and Vuzi after that, right. All right, so yeah, Kasava's jumping all over the map, but people are very happy about its recovery.
All over the map. And lately it looks like it closed the gap and it came down a little. I think it'll come down a little more.
To the middle.
Right, I think it'll test 100. I think it'll test 100.
Really? Okay.
Not the 100. I mean $100 a share.
Oh, test on.
I got to be very careful of what I say.
Yeah, it will test 100.
The 100 is at 66, 67. That's not 100.
Okay.
I better be careful what I say. I'm looking at like $98. I mean, I don't think it's going to come down to test to the gap, to fill that gap, because that would be a huge drop to $70. I mean, it could, because it's all over the map, but
yeah, but that was in sympathy of the Innova stuff. On its own, it really shouldn't have made that in the first place.
And there's a huge hunger for AD stocks, considering the terrible Biogen drug that was approved. Now, I'm not saying terrible because I don't own it. It's not sour grapes. It was terrible because 10 people on the advisory committee voted no, largely because of safety issues. People that take that drug tend to bleed in the brain, get swollen brains.
Swollen, yeah.
Don't sound like good things. Do they sound like good things to you?
I wouldn't want that to happen to me if I was looking to take a medicine.
Yeah, so I mean, how the hell did they pass this? It sounds
because, like you said, everybody is clamoring for something. They're grasping at straws. So hopefully this time they'll be grasping for something other than straws.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say money under the table. I'm going to make an accusation that
I knew it was. I thought political, but I wouldn't have said corrupt. I think when we talked about this originally, I used the word political. Yes. I'm not going to use the word corrupt.
It sure smells of corruption.
Right, and if it quacks like a duck, right?
I mean, I'm not making any accusations. I'm just speculating.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully with Anovis, well, we'll see, because the news was tepid. Sava and ABXL, and also the other one that you're going to do, CTXR. One of these or a couple of these might, actually work.
Yeah, and Patrick asked my opinion. In my opinion, I think he bought at 68. Should he take some profits here?
Right, off of this recent jump. I'm asking the same question because I bought down at that red candle also.
I also bought around that level, maybe a little lower average. Do I take some off the table? Maybe I take some off the table. I'm not sure. I'm a gambling man. But sometimes I get conservative. So maybe it depends whether I have a bellyache or not after the show. In other words, it could go either way. You want to take some off the table here, go ahead. It's okay. So you make a little less when it hits 150.
Now, you always talk about the middle of green candles.
Yes.
What about the middle of that red candle? The middle of that, is that ever significant?
Yes, that's the same thing in reverse. The middle is a good time to short the stock if you or play puts. I don't like to think that way though.
No, I'm talking in terms of like finding my bailout spot. Let's say I'm being too greedy right now.
You're absolutely right. A good bailout spot, a good place to take profits is about 125.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking of waiting.
Yeah, or for that matter, play some puts. Yeah, I mean, certainly the reverse is true.
Okay.
This is a huge.
At least I have my strategy then.
You see that this is a huge engulfing, absolutely huge.
Right. No, that was a bad day. I mean, we all remember that day.
And sure enough,
we all were buying it. We were buying and buying and buying all at that level.
Yeah.
Thinking that this was going to the moon.
I sold it at 140. It was hit 145.
Did you?
Yeah, I sold it at 140. But then I bought it back the next day at 107.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch at 107.
Or maybe the same day. I think I bought it back. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I bought it back at 107. It couldn't have been the next day because it didn't hit 107 the next day. It must have been
right. No, exactly. So I'm still that lot. I'm still on the red.
Or maybe I sold it at 140 the day before. Probably. Yeah, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Before, and then the next day I bought it back at 107. And then I added a lot on this dip. And now I'm working on, you know what? I personally am not going to sell this, but I could understand taking half off the table. That's my style.
Okay.
I got to move on. CTXR. No, not CTXR.
I know we always get this CR. Let me see what you wrote.
Okay, CRTX.
It's CRTX. Yes.
This one I'm super happy about. I told
you
look at
that. Wow, that was a good
one. When it was 53.
Wow.
That it had the best.
Wow, you made yourself a nice payday this week.
Yeah. So
wow.
I made myself a bundle on this.
Holy.
Buying it at 50. What I buy it at 53, I bought it at.
Well, yeah, you talked about it on Friday, and it was that big green candle wasn't there then.
No, but we looked at it on the show right here.
Yeah.
Remember?
exactly.
It was 63. And I said it's going to take out this 66. I just had no idea it's going to 96.
Wow. Well,
99.
good on
Look
you.
where it stopped. 99, 99. You know what I call that stopping point?
What?
I call it a Herman Cain cell signal.
9999. Cute.
Yeah, it's a Herman Cain.
So now, for the people who missed the boat on this one, what do you suggest?
Middle of the
Hmm?
green camera.
Right in the middle, around 80ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is still, I mean, I don't know the fundamentals in terms of whether or not they're far along in their experiments. I'll have to look it up better.
I don't know what phase they're
No,
in.
I was just happy with the ones that we were working with.
I
wasn't
believe
adding
they have
something.
a very good, potentially terrific drug. People are very excited about this one. The conference made it instead of breaking it. You know how it broke it
Yeah,
up?
right. The conference give it and the conference take it away.
That's right. This is one of the companies that benefited from the conference.
Yeah, because that conference was murder for a lot of us.
It put CRTX on the map. The conference drew positive attention to CRTX. So we had a big sell-off in Innovis, a big sell-off in Sava, and this sucker, we had a tiny little sell-off. Remember how I told you
Yes.
it went down from 63 to 53 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
due to the conference. Whereas the others got killed, this one hardly got hurt at all, and then just took off like a rocket ship. And it's got to come back after a move like that. It's got to.
Right.
No, it's normal digestion. So far, the low is 91.84 today. I mean, this is so hot it could move to 129 before coming back. But you hate to chase, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, you hate to chase. This is just one to keep an eye out on. If you own it like me, keep it. I'm not selling this one.
Pete wanted to mention that Athersys is having a nice day today, so it's worth at least mentioning it.
Sure. It's up 14 cents. It's a real nice day.
Indeed, which is a nice.
Athersys is waiting for one news item and one news item only, and that is last patient dosed in Treasure trial, which is this ischemic stroke trial going on in Japan. That headline should send it up 15% before it implodes again. But it'll give it a shot in the arm, at least for temporarily.
Before it implodes again. Very optimistic.
Well, the thing is with Athersys, last patient dose means you're 6 months away, probably.
Gotcha.
But it's at least there's light at the end of the tunnel. It seems like there's never any news from Athersys.
Right. And then he was also talking about Vuzi also. I think that was another one that we were.
Yeah, so Athersys is trading in a nice Zoom channel at this point. It looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, well, I've been staying in it, so I guess I'm going to even wait for the 6 months after that last patient and hope that news is
if you have a position in this, it probably pays to add a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Average out.
Good point. Good point, because my average is still well above these
The
levels.
spiders have turned slightly negative on the day. Let's take a quick look. Professor Omar drew drew the channel from April
Right.
and came to a conclusion. He drew a beautiful zoom channel and came to a conclusion that it's bearish. Well, you could come to the conclusion that it's bearish short term, but not bearish long term.
Well, like I was saying before, he was even still bearish on the Russell, even though the Russell's starting to get a little shaky now.
Yeah, well, I'm less bearish. I just want the market to tell me at this point. Tell me when.
Now, could the S&P soar without the Russell being behind it?
Yes, because it's been doing that for the last 7 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but how sustainable is that? Is my question.
At least 7 months sustainable.
Well, it's sustainable for the last 7 months. Okay, that's perfectly fair. So maybe you could, by a certain maximum likelihood estimate, you can go 7 months more the same way.
It sure could. I mean, there's no telling. It's very difficult to pick a bottom. It's much easier to pick. I mean, occasionally you can, but it's actually, I think it's actually harder to pick a top than a bottom. So this is a Zoom channel that Professor Omar pointed out that we're in since April. So is this April? No. This April? March. We're in since March, really. So we're in this Zoom channel, traded above it here. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's
It looks like you can include a lot more if you go up.
It may not be exactly his picture, but his point was we're pretty close to the top of it. And if it goes back to the bottom of it, we're going to pick up a few points, about 10 points. And that makes him bearish. But the thing is, we have very good support at the lower end of the channel. So even if it drops 10 points, it's a buy.
Right.
My way of thinking.
So by contrast, is it a sell now?
It's not a sell now. It could go down 10 points. Doesn't have to.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear.
I'm not even calling for a 2.5% correction.
I mean, most people are optimistic, but isn't that the time to be most worried?
Usually.
Well, I mean, I'll tell everybody I'm worried, but that doesn't mean anything.
But a lot of the
gurus, worry what as it is.
A lot of the gurus have been very cautious on the market for the last 3 to 6 months, and they've been wrong.
Indeed. Okay. Fair enough.
The big bank analysts have been wrong. The Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, all of them have been wrong. This is very good support that we're at, isn't it? So, I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, it broke that support.
Right. That was the hope. That was the scare that he was talking
about. It's a big scare. It's a big scare. Usually when it breaks support like that, it's just to sell it and go on to something else. It's a tough thing to do, but usually when you stay in, you're just going to lose more money. It might come down to this level here at $8. $11 is better than what is it, $9? $8. It could go down to the $8.50 level, something like that, or even lower. This is where the next real support is like at the $8 level.
Usually you see this on good news, but this time we're seeing it on not so good news.
Yeah. Why be in it? Why be in it? There's really no reason at this point to expect a complete reversal after this big drop. So I don't think you're getting a reversal until the eights, the 8 trade. It's got to print in the 8s for me to be interested.
Gotcha.
But who am I to say? My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. What was the other ones that people wanted?
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now. Some people were asking about Checkpoint.
Again?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'd actually ask about ChargePoint because that's the one that we were on for a while. We haven't talked about it forever.
I'm with you. I'd rather chart this one, and then we'll do fuel cell.
Especially since our president has been talking about a real investment in EV.
Shouldn't we also chart at least CRISPR or Editas or one of them?
Yeah, we should definitely do that as well. I just wanted to have a little bit of a foray into the EV market since he did have that speech.
We'll do this, and we'll do maybe Fisker.
Yeah, because we're almost at the hour mark anyway.
Very nice bottom here. A very nice bottom.
This was another one of those ones that sort of fell apart right after the merger.
Yeah, it really looks like we put in a strong bottom here. We have the bottom, the actual bottom here, 2164, and further support to just above it at 2230. So support 2230, and we're starting to form a nice trend line up. The resistance is at the 100. Hold on a minute.
Well, that's not the warning knock. That's actually a get up off your seat knock. So it's important.
No, yeah.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can. You just wind up.
So that being the case, some of these things, Sesson and these other ones, we'll just talk about them on Friday.
I'm running into time constraints, so we'll do one more and we'll wind it up.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to do CRISPR or edit. I'll do edit and we'll wind it up.
Yeah, do like I said, it right.
I think ChargePoint is an interesting play.
You think? Yeah, we might have a turnaround coming. Okay.
Edit has been a phenomenal stock, and I think it continues here. So we're winding up now as soon as this loads. And I guess I've got more important things to do, according to certain people. Let's see here. All right, so we took out this key high at $60, and we pulled back to below that high right now. So to me, this is a normal pullback after a huge run. Maybe we pull back a little bit more. I don't think we pull all the way back to the middle of this green candle, but a good entry point might be the low of the day yesterday, which is 56.58. So 56.58 is my entry at this point.
Your
Entry. 56.58. I think it's extremely bullish, as are all the gene editing stocks. So Editas might be the most bullish right now. CRISPR the second most bullish, and then there's also Beam has been very hot.
Yeah.
As well as MTLA. So I think you got to be in some of these, if not all of them. I'm in all of them except for Beam. And I like this sector. I like this part of biotech. I like gene editing very much. I like the AD plays very much. I think there's also the antiviral plays like Red Hill. We didn't chart it, but I like it. And I like there's some of the vaccine makers like VBIV and Vaxart and Novavax. I did
Novavax, right?
I did
Novavax had a nice week.
Yes, I did buy some Novavax.
Good.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for being here today. Zeisman, thank you. Patrick, thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Patrick and Dan, thank you very much.
Red Hill.
As usual.
Red Hill
this year. Thank you,
Kamal
Linda.
is here. Hey, Kamal.
Kamal,
Kamal
all
called
right.
the last correction.
He
Remember,
did. He did.
very good at calling corrections, Kamal.
Thank you,
All right,
Kamal.
guys. So we're going to see you after the weekend on Friday, and you have a terrific week.
Have a good
And
week.
let's make
Profitable.
some money. Let's make some money. Adios, amigos. Don't forget to
Goodbye,
subscribe.
everybody. Good week.
Ciao.
Bye, Dr. J.